Good morning, my friends. It's so good to see you. I want to play around with a little idea. I'm not sure whether it's going to work, so I'm just being upfront. I'm experimenting. I'm having a play and decided to just bring you along with me for this, hopefully, thing that works. But if it doesn't, well, hey, you might never see this. But anyway, let's crack into what this project is. I want to make a pocket, but I don't want just any pocket. I want to do something a bit creative because I like doing creative things. So let me grab out a piece of paper. So this is just a book page which I've folded into a journal page size just to guide my measurements to make sure that my pocket will fit on a journal page. And therefore in a journal. So I'm just flicking through the papers at the top of my desk. I am working today with my Colour Essentials kits. So there's two kits in this. There's this Mottled one, Colour Essentials Mottled, and then there's Colour Essentials Plaid, or Plaid, which is, let me just grab you one of those out. So the Plaid, however you want to say it, and the Mottled. And they come in multiple colours. They are both quite large kits. And for each of these full page ones, there's ones with writing space. A lot of these you could actually write on anyway, but you know, they just got little squares set into them that are paler to make writing easier. Right, so let's just start by trimming off the white. I hope you're doing well, my friends. Things are ticking along here. We've had a few wins recently with getting the rest home funding all set and good to go, and man, that was a journey and a half, you know, something that we'd never done before. So we finally got to a point where it's all set up, it's all the lawyers and all the steps involved, and it's all done, which is just a huge milestone. It feels more like a 90 milestone rather than a milestone, but there you go. So it's really good to have that done, and hubby's feeling a lot more relaxed now that it's done, because he was stressing quite a bit over that, and you know, just all the unknowns. Is it going to be approved? Have we done everything correctly? What else needs to happen? Because there were a lot of things that had to happen along the way, which we didn't know. And yeah, it's been quite a time. So we're through that. So now we've just got some few final bills to pay up into the point where the funding kicks in, which is all good. But then our focus now is turning towards getting the house ready for sale. So clearing it out, we've been working at that for, oh, it feels like forever. We were up there last weekend, we're up there again this weekend. Like it's a big job, and it's quite a big property. So there's all the outside areas and outbuildings that need to be cleared, and some things will need to be dismantled because they're not legal. And it's probably better to take them down before we put it on the market. Right, so what I want to do is create a base. Now, I actually am going to make a base with book page. So I need to actually do this first. So yeah, work, you know, there's still quite a bit to do. It feels a lot easier in many respects than the legal stuff that we had to do. But still not easy. Like there's a lot of emotions in dealing with the house. That's where my husband grew up, so there's a lot of memories attached for him. Is that going to fit? Tell you what, I'm just going to cut it down here so it will fit. Just a messy little chop, just so it will fit in my guillotine. Make life easier. So we're going there. And I'm just measuring it according to my page, so don't worry about what measurements I'm doing. You do what suits your page, if in fact this even works. No guarantees here. So this is my pocket base. So far so good. that's easy. That's my journal page. Let's pop that somewhere, because now that I know this is going to fit on a page, we're good. Right, so now we come to this part. So I want to cut this essentially the same size. Do I want to leave a little border? I could leave a little border. What would that look like? It's a picture of a the moon landing. It's not like there's been more than one, is there? Right. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave a little border. So I'm going to bring it inside my base. And we'll cut that. Totally doing this on the wing, on the fly. Making it up as I go along. I've got an idea of what I want to achieve, but we'll see. We shall see. Right. Okay. So fun little scrap and then a bigger scrap. Right. And that's the other half of the moon landing. I used the two opposite pages, one for my journal page base. I could actually have the black around. That might be quite nice. Have the black as a border. Or do I want the white? I mean, it might not even go on this page, but do I like the black or the white? The white would ink up. So let's go with the white, because that will show the ink. Right, now this is where things get a little bit tricky, and I don't exactly know how it's going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut a curved line from somewhere down here to somewhere up there. And it doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't even need to be a single curve. It could be wavy or, you know, just whatever. But let's just bite the bullet and see what happens. So something like that. So what I envisage is this going to be a pocket here. Okay. So what I want to do is, this is whatchamacallit, presentation paper. It's a little thicker than copy paper, but I want to reinforce the edge. So I'm going to grab my glue stick and actually I might draw this. Yes. Trace around that. Actually, I'll move it right up to that edge. That makes sense. If I make that right to the edge, a little bit less that I have to cut. And then I don't want to go, because I don't want to cover the whole back. I just want to do an edge that's going to reinforce it. So I'm just going to follow along that pencil line. This is the offcut from making my base. Okay, and then because I don't want all that there, I'm just going to kind of chop that bit off. That can go in the rubbish. Right, is this going to work? I think it should. If you're using a heavier weight paper, you might not need to reinforce it. It's completely up to you. Probably would be okay without it, but I just like to make sure. I like to make it as strong as possible. So I like to take the time to reinforce, usually. Not all the time, but usually. Right, so glue that on there. And it doesn't have to be perfectly aligned, just as long as it doesn't show really on the front. Perfect. So that's now a strong pocket. Let's put the lid on my glue stick. Put a few things away as I go, otherwise I end up with a complete mess. And I'm going to ink up around it. And because we've got that white border around the edge, I'm going to do all the way around. Whereas if you're doing right up to the edge, you just do the edge at the end. But if you're not an inker, don't ink. It's just whatever your style is, go with it. If that's not inking, don't ink. If it's inking in fluoro pink, then ink in fluoro pink. You do whatever your style is. My style typically is inking. I don't always ink though. I just typically will ink. Yeah, it's just a stylistic thing. I think people get caught up about inking or not inking. But it's really just a style choice. And you do your style. You can't go wrong doing your style. Honestly, you cannot. Right. So I'm going to glue this on. I don't know whether I should glue it on yet, but I'm going to. Because, you know, we're being brave here. We're experimenting on camera. So I want to glue this small top bit as well. So I want the pocket just to be this curve. Okay, so I'm going to glue on 3 sides. If my glue will come out. Come on. I used you earlier today, so you shouldn't be blocked. Come on. Oh. No. It's not wanting to play ball. Let's unblock it. I literally was using it this morning and it was working fine. Try again. You know what? I think it's got a blockage in under the cap. It's looking pretty sort of goopy. So I think it's got a glob. Yeah, it's a glob here. It's all, don't know, sort of chewing gum like, I guess. So we're getting an unexpected little dealing with glue problems. And then is there a glob in here as well? Doesn't seem like it. Maybe it was just that top bit. So I'm just cleaning my pin off on my glue pages. So I'll have to change out that glue page. Now we'll try again. Didn't expect to have to do that on camera. Come on. Oh man, don't do this to me. Maybe there's a bit more. Oh yeah, it's more chewing gum like glue. So maybe I just need to dig all that out. Because that thicker stuff, you know, you've got a very fine nozzle, and when it's really thick, it doesn't want to go through a tiny wee hole. Okay, let's push that through. Can I see? Yep, I can see the pin coming through, so that's good. Just a bit more there. I hate this because it feels like such a waste of glue, but if it's not working, it's not working. Oh, I can hear some air. Come on, there we go, yay! It wasn't in vain. So we actually need to do 4 sides. So 3 and then this short little bit here. Okay. Right, line it up. Try and center it as good as we can. I don't know why I wanted to do this. I just was pondering what I could do that was a little bit different, and this idea came to me, and it's like, okay, we are not going to take the time to give it a test run. We're just going to launch into it and see what happens, because, you know, that's far more fun. Right, and then this piece, we need to trim some down, we want the barest of gaps so that you can see where the pocket is. So I'm going to kind of sit it where it lines up, and it's not quite straight. So we're going to amend that. And it's not straight because of that curve, because we're setting it out from the curve. It throws everything off a little bit, and if I didn't put this bottom part on straight, then that will also throw it out, but it's fine. So I need to line up this edge, bottom edge, with the edge of the bottom of the pocket. So that's looking good there. So I'm using the bottom part to dictate how straight this is, and I'm going to actually rule a line right down to the point, and then I'm going to hold it in place and do the same thing. So I'm using this section here to dictate the straightness and where I need to rule the line. Okay, so something like that. Hopefully I haven't lost anyone yet. So this could be a bit tricky. So I can't line it up on my guillotine. I need to line it up along the pencil line. And that point is correct. So I'm lining it up with that and my pencil line at the top. And hoping this turns out. Right, and the same here. So this time I'm just going to use entirely the pencil line. Okay, do a test, make sure it's all looking tickety-boo. And that's looking pretty darn fine. Okay, going to ink it up. Get a decent amount of ink on my brush would be good. Now this piece is going to be glued all the way down. Okay. And you could choose two different bits of paper if you wanted, but you know, matching that curve, you'd need to put the two pieces front ways together and then cut your curve so that you cut both pieces of paper on the same curve. You could do just a straight angle if you preferred. That's certainly one way. I just wanted a more sort of, I don't know, flowy, interesting. I don't know if you can see this. It's all the glue I dug out along there. So just going to get rid of that page. Glue this one. So I hope you've been well, my friends. Thank you so much for sticking with me. We're going to continue with being a bit erratic and sporadic with videos. I'm contemplating a few different things, and I'm not in a space where I feel like coming back in any sort of great measure. So I'm just going to go with that, and we shall see. We shall just see. So I hope you're not too disappointed with that. And I thank you for your grace and bearing with me. You guys are amazing, and I truly appreciate all your thoughts and kindnesses and prayers, and just for being here. Just for being here, my friends. You are pretty cool in my book. Pretty cool. Okay. So I just want to visualize this on my journal page. So here, I do need to ink around it to help it stand out. Oops, knocking over things here. So yeah, once I've decided on a few things, I will, of course, let people know what the deal is. But I actually don't know my own mind at the moment, so I can't tell anyone when I have not settled in my own mind. Yeah. Life, it's a funny old creature, isn't it? Life. Right. Yeah, that's better. With the inking, it's better. Okay, so we have a pocket like so for a nice big journal or card. I think would be lovely in there. But I want to make this more than a single pocket. A single pocket is fine, like just having that as a pocket. So glue it completely down on your page. Decorate it, of course, you know, add some decoration. And then having that as a nice big pocket, I think is perfectly lovely. But how can we take it further? Because, you know, we've still got time. We've still got time in this video. So I'm wondering about this space, whether I want to do anything here. And of course, the easy option is a pocket in behind. So sideways or top, absolutely an option. The other option is it could actually not be attached to a page, and it could be a flip out. So it flips out, writing space on the back, and a pocket with something inside it. And I quite like that idea as well. You just tinge it on either with washi tape or a strip of paper. Either way would be fine. Do I want to actually put it on a page? That's another question. What do I want to do? What do I want to do? That's the question of the time, isn't it? In many, many ways. Like, what do I want to do? Side pocket, top pocket. Or, here's an idea. You could actually put a glue line maybe halfway-ish. And you could have a bottom side loading pocket and a top loading pocket. Oh, I like that idea. So it would be 3 pockets. Oh, I've got to do it. Yes, I've got to do it. Okay, so for this, I need to think carefully. So I need to go across the middle, and you just choose where. You could do further up, further down, or dead bang smack in the middle. It doesn't really matter. Right, and this is the side that's... So we're going to do a bottom loading pocket, so we need to glue the top. And we're doing a top loading pocket, so leave the top open where my fingers are, and this side open, and then we need to glue down this side and along the bottom. So by doing this, you end up with smaller pockets, of course, but I just think it's fun to have different pockets. And I'm going to put it more towards the bottom of my page, so I've got room for something to stick up a little bit. It's not going to stick up a lot, but it's going to stick up a little bit. Okay. So we have the top loading pocket here, and we have a side loading pocket down the bottom. This is glued here, and then we've got the front pocket. That's pretty cool. I like that. How are we going on time? We are absolutely fantastic on time. And I have ended up gluing it onto this page. So this will need, you know, making writable or decorating or something. Okay, how about we make some ephemera to go in this pocket? I was thinking, do I decorate? Do I make ephemera? We'll see. We'll start with the ephemera, and then if we've got time, we can decorate. So just grabbing out a scrap, and let's see what we can do with this scrap. So trim off the white. And then just straighten up that edge where I've torn it. Okay. So this could work, but I think I want something different there. So I'm going to make this for one of the, maybe the bottom pocket. So I just want to check how much we've got to play with. Maybe 3 1/4 inches. We'll try that. So I'm going to do 3 1/4. see whether it fits in and fits all the way in, because if our glue line's not straight that we put in here, then it might be narrower at one end. So you need to check it all the way, and it's not comfortable. It's not going uncomfortably. So I'm going to take a little smidge off that and try it again. Of course, that glue's probably still a bit wet, which could be impacting. Okay, so there we go. And then I'm going to trim the width, because that's right to the end of the pocket. Trim it, I think I eyeballed it about there. Hopefully that's right. Good old eyeballs. What would we do without them? Eyeball this, eyeball that. If you're a measurer, by all means measure everything out first. Right, just double checking that. It's only a single layer of paper, so it's a little bit bendy going in. Oh, is that to the end? No, I need to cut more off. Okay. I obviously didn't eyeball it correctly. Yeah, it's definitely too long. I can see that from the outside. My goodness. That's looking better. Oh, even sliding in easier too. And just enough there. We could put a little tab on that to help with pulling it out if we needed to. Okay, now that we've established that's the right size, I'm going to, do I want book page, or do I want to just put it straight onto some sort of writing paper? Let's use this because it's handy. Okay. Where's my glue stick? Wrong side of the desk. And knocked over. That's what I knocked over earlier. So it was hiding under my papers. Oh, sliding away. So I've got a family lunch coming up later this week, which I'm looking forward to. Going to a place called the Tannery, and I do not believe I've been there before, so you know, that'll be fun, going somewhere I haven't been. I need to look up the menu, get a little inkling of sort of prices that it's going to be, so it helps me decide, you know, what I might want to eat, whether it's like I can choose anything I like on the day because the prices are okay, or whether it's like no, you're going to be ordering from the entree menu today. Because the places we go, they vary. Some are more upmarket, not usually, because everybody tries to pick places that are more accessible for everybody price wise, but the odd one's been a bit pricey. And one of the weirdest meals I had was at one of those pricey places. It was for my uncle's 80th, so you know, I didn't mind going pricier because of him, like it was an event. It wasn't just a regular monthly lunch. And I chose something that sounded really yummy: pork belly with crackling, and a medley of mushrooms, and a some sort of mash. It wasn't potato mash, it was something else. Was it parsnip mash or something? You know, it sounded wonderful. Well, I was disappointed, and it was pricey. Did I mention that? It was pricey. The mushrooms were rubbery, and some of them were downright looked unappetizing, like they were black. There was a type of mushroom they looked black and slimy, and they were rubbery. And the crackling was crackling out of a bag. You know how you buy puffed crackling in a bag as a snack, it was that. Now for an upmarket restaurant with pricey prices, I expect proper cooked on the premises crackling. I was actually quite shocked that it was bagged crackling. I thought that's not good. And rubbery mushrooms, so everyone who ordered that particular meal, commented on the mushrooms. It was like, these are rubbery and they look really off-putting and gross. Okay, so that's going to go in there. I think I'll not decorate at the moment. I'm just going to make the bases. Okay, so that's in there. Right, now the top. So what, we haven't got enough of this. How far down does that go? It goes that far, which is, see, this is my backwards way of doing things, about 4 inches, and this is only 3, so that's going to get swallowed in that pocket. So we need a different bit of paper. Do we want another yellow one? I've got multiples of these papers because my printer had a moment, or several moments, where it just got locked into printing over and over and over. So it would print the pages and then it would start printing them again. It was only set to print 1 copy, but it ended up printing over and over. So I've got lots of them. Right, so we said 4 inches, didn't we? So let's take it slightly over so that it will peek out top of the pocket. Nice, very, what's the word, decisive sound there on the guillotine. Yeah, so anyway, as I was saying, so yeah, I need to look at the prices for the lunch for this Friday and see, and I've got enough money, even if it's pricey, because I've been ferreting away some of the grocery money. Yep. But, you know, if I, hopefully it's just regular prices and I won't need to use all of that cash. Would be good. Okay, so I actually made it to go in the other way, but I think I'm going to do it this way. So we're going to go just under that row of squares. Yep, that's pretty good. I've made this page slightly shorter than my typical journal page, so I know I've got a little bit of space at the top there. Now this is too big for that bit of paper. So let's find something else. Oh, a bit of coffee dyed paper will do the trick. Okay. I'm going to use 2 glues on this because of this coffee dyed paper. Sometimes it doesn't like the glue stick so much. It's like it coats, the coffee coats the paper. So I'm going to use my 2 glue method. And give it a good amount of glue stick in the middle. And then the tacky glue. Oops, running off the paper because I'm hurrying. Don't know why I'm hurrying, I just am. This is textured paper as well. It's like linen sort of finish paper, which is another reason to use the tacky glue as well, because that texture could be a problem for the glue stick. I'm just going to cut around that with the scissors. This yellow print really picks up the ink nicely when you ink around it. Need to clean my scissors, I think. I can see some residue on the edge. It's almost looking square to me. Is it square or is that an optical illusion? It's 4 1/8 by 4 1/8. It is indeed square, my friends, so it doesn't matter which way I put it in the pocket, it will fit. Do I want to round the corners as well? I think so. So before I ink, let's just do the same like I did for the other one. Three and 4. Keep knocking my finger. Poor fingers had a bit of trauma this week. Actually this week and last week. Last week I hurt it at the food bank, and it was fine. Like, it didn't bleed or anything. It was just a bit tender, and then that was, you know, okay. Didn't sticky plaster it or anything. It was fine. And then on Sunday, I was cleaning something and my finger slipped and it sort of scraped along something that was effectively like a grater, and it took more skin off and bled. And so I put a sticking plaster on it, and then the next morning, so Monday morning, it had bled through the plaster. Not greatly, but you could see it had bled through the plaster. So I changed the plaster, and it didn't bleed anymore after that. But and I had a plaster on, and then I took the plaster off this morning after my shower because it was literally falling off. I've been putting fresh ones on every day, and I forgot to replace it, and then I went to replace it and thought, actually it's looking quite dry and healing over, so I'll just leave it so it can, you know, toughen up. But in the meantime, every time I knock it or run into something, it's like, ouch. It's a little bit tender. I mean, it doesn't look so bad now, but yeah, it's a little bit tender at times, especially when I run into something or hit something with my finger. It's like, ow. So I don't know, I might put a plaster on when I go to the food bank again tomorrow, just to protect it from any, to give it a bit of padding. We'll see how it's feeling in the morning, just whether I just give it a little bit extra protection from knocks and things. Probably not a bad idea, is it? Okay, so you, little journal card, little square journal card, are going in there, and you are in there, and then we just need one in here. How are we going? We're doing okay on time. So I'm going to do a different colour, I think, for this pocket. We could use this same paper, but I feel like mixing it up a bit. So let's hunt for something. So we've got this tealy colour and the yellow. We could do blue. How would blue look? This is one of the writing pages, so you see here it's got that faint. It's still got the pattern in the background, but it's, you know, it's easy to write on. That's too wide, so I think I just want to go with a straight pattern. Green. This is a limey green. No, not feeling that. Sorry, these pages are quite curly, so it's a little bit hard to try and thumb through them. What about orange? That would kind of tie with yellow and with the teal. Okay, this is one of the writing pages as well, but excuse me, I think I'm going to run with it. So let's chop it for a start in the middle. We'll have to chop it down more, but let's start by just cutting it in the middle-ish. It's a good place to start. And now we can cut off the white easily. My tummy's gurgling. It's saying it's past time for afternoon tea. You need your snack. Oh, and I'm looking forward to my snack too. Crackers and cheese. Yum, yum. Love my crackers and cheese in the afternoon. Right, so we need to cut this. I'm wondering if we need to cut right down. I think we do. Okay, let's do it. So we're going to cut inside the darker border. And that'll make some fun strips for something. Okay. Actually, it needs to be narrower than that because we've got this glue line at the top. So we need to take a little bit more off, about 1/2 inch or so. Take a little bit more than 1/2 inch. So I'm actually thinking this might suit a tag rather than a journal card. Let's make a tag because we've got 2 journal cards already. So tag would work nicely for variety. Yeah, that's a good width for that. And we need to trim it down, so 1 inch, give or take, would work. So I'm just going to do 1 inch. And we could put this darker strip at the top or bottom. If you don't like the darker strip, you could just trim a bit off both ends instead. If you're using these papers, that is. I quite like it at the bottom, I think. Like it's the reveal. It's like, oh, it's got that deeper colour at the bottom. Okay, that's good. Okay, now is this, oh, look at that. That's going to fit. Brilliant. So I'm just going to glue this as well. Just because I make less mess. So what's your favourite thing to have for afternoon tea? If you have afternoon tea, maybe you don't. But what's your go-to for your snacks? Maybe it's morning tea, maybe it's supper. What's your go-to? What's your thing that you have most days? Biscuits, fruit, yogurt, nuts, like crackers and hummus, or crackers and cheese, or crackers and peanut butter. What's your go-to? I have crackers and cheese, and then if I feel like having a switch up, I will have peanut butter on my crackers instead, if I'm feeling like something different. And then if I really want a treat, if I feel like something completely different, well, kind of completely different, I need the crackers for the fibre, so that's why I have the crackers, and I have the cheese for the protein. But sometimes it's just like, I want something different, and I love cheese scones. So I keep cheese scones in the freezer. And if I feel like, no, today's a cheese scone day, then I'll whip one of those babies out and nuke it. And then lashings of butter. Got to have butter on it. And that's my like breakaway treat snack when I just want something different. So, 2 questions. Oh, hang on. Someone's at the door. Be back. Well, that was rude. The doorbell was going, and while the doorbell was going, there was a really loud knocking on the door, and I get there and there's no one. Maybe a kid, but I stood there for a while at the door looking, and I couldn't see anyone. And when I came back, I just finished cutting around this before I turned the camera back on. Thought I'd save you that. It's like, don't know who it was, couldn't see anyone in the street, but it was very rude. You know, you've pushed the doorbell, and from the outside you can hear the doorbell, so you know it's going, and then just to really obnoxiously bang really loudly on the door, you know, bang, 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 and then go away. Like, what's the deal? Whoever. Right, this is a bit curly. I'm just going to straighten it on the edge of my desk a little bit. So, right, let's ink around this. Anyway, I think I was talking about 2 questions. I think that's where I was at before I was rudely interrupted. 2 questions. So what's your snack go-to, if you have a go-to? And what's your snack treat, like when you feel like, nah, I'm just going to do something different? And it might not be a specific thing like a cheese scone. It might be something more general. It's like maybe you usually have a piece of fruit, and when you really want to break out, you have some cookies or a bit of cake, you know. So it doesn't have to be super specific, but I'm just curious, you know, just let me know. So what's your normal snack, and what's your breakout, I feel like a treat, or I feel like a change treat, snack? So there we go. That's my 2 questions for you today. Feel free to respond in the comments down below. Love hearing from you guys. And I have missed that while I haven't been doing videos. I have missed not hearing from people. Like you know who you are, who do comment very faithfully on my videos, watch and comment. You're amazing. But lots of people watch and never say boo, you know. So if you're one of those people, answer my question for me. Say hi. I'd love to hear from you. Anyway, that's enough on that, isn't it? I think I've done that subject to not quite death. Right, I'm going to put a little slot punch in here because I just feel like it. Always a little tricky to line it up level, but, you know, whoops, now I'm wearing it. One does their best. And I've got a little chink that didn't come out. Can I get it? Concentration. Yep, there we go. Got it. Still a little raggedy, but hey, that's all good. Right. Well, so we've made a pocket that's just something a little bit different, and you can have something under here that's kind of revealed when you remove the tag. Decorated up down here. This could be writing space, but I think decorating it would be lovely. I'm not going to decorate it today. Then we've got our little journal card down the bottom here, which is decent size actually. And I just see that I haven't actually inked on the back, so I'll have to do that. I'll do it off camera. Had a bit of white showing, but ink will take care of that. And then we've got our square journal card as it happens. Doesn't have to be square, but mine just turned out square in the top. And I did ink around the back of that one. I am really happy with how that turned out. I think it's just something fun, something playful. It wasn't super hard to achieve either. There's a few little watch points you would have noticed as I was doing it, but just working with it and making it up as you go along, it actually worked really well. It's pretty much like I had thought it would turn out. So I'm very happy. I hope you're inspired. Maybe you'll give it a go or do your version of this. There's lots of ways you could make this different. You could, originally I was thinking of making this top piece of pocket as well for maybe like an up tuck. But I decided against it just because then you've got which piece do you put in and take out first. You know, it makes it a little more complex. So I just thought this was something fun, something different. There we go. Thanks for joining me, guys. Have a beautiful day, beautiful rest of your week, and I will see you again soon sometime. Not sure when, but we'll see you then. Bye.